What?
Hey guys. Hey, what's up, Casey? Welcome back.
Yo, what's up, Rob?
Hey,
Episode
episode
number
2.
2
Dose.
of the 6 degrees of esports. Welcome everybody that is listening. Whether it's your first time listening or you're coming back around for a second dose of esports entertainment, welcome.
Yeah, awesome. So we teased a couple things last time that we're going to be talking about today. Uh, a couple of different stories popped up this week, though, that were really cool. We're going to talk about esports, gaming, NFTs, cryptocurrency, and just the worlds colliding. And lots of things coming up. I expect a lot more over the summer, too.
Yeah, and stay tuned at the end. Got a fun topic for you there for all those Skyrim players. So you might want to hear this at the end. But yeah, NFTs, just new wave of art. You could call it the easiest way to describe an NFT.
I mean, collectibles, yeah, collectibles are all the rage right now, right? You got Pokemon unboxings of base sets, on YouTube. You got sports cards coming back wildly right now. Everything's popping off, but digital stuff too. NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Those are NFTs. You can find them on various exchanges all throughout the internet. Everyone's pumping their NFTs. Recently, I'd seen one before a big UFC fight for Jorge Masvidal. He had an NFT come out. But more recently in the news, Virtus Pro, professional esports organization, Virtus Pro is going to be doing their own NFT launch with a platform called Lympo. And so Lympo is basically it's a layered on top of the Ethereum platform, LMT. It's the Lympo market token is going to be their utility token for transactions. And what they're doing with Virtus Pro is they're taking their original lineups from CSGO and from Dota, which I'm sure is going to include like Pasha, Biceps, and different players like that from the original roster. They're going to be doing an NFT launch with, all their stuff. So they're going after real life athletes, teams, clubs, influencers, esports players, things like that.
Yeah, I think a really important thing to note about NFTs is that basically anything on the internet can be an NFT. So anything that was or will be, whether it is different character models from different video games that you love, or even if it's something like an article from the New York Times. Now, you do have to pay for that. Now, that's what kind of an NFT is, but then you become the owner of that NFT, and that is yours. And it's almost like it's a flex in a way to say that you own this piece of art. So it's a new way for people to get their Jordans almost, but on the internet. It's kind of cool.
That same piece of artwork still exists on the internet, right?
Yeah.
You don't just have it.
So yeah, that for me, I'm not a huge art aficionado. This little thing behind me, it's a puzzle. So it's not like it's a Rembrandt. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how to say it. I don't know art that well.
Rembrandt, like the toothpaste. Exactly.
Yeah,
same guy.
Thanks. Yeah, sure. Frick, more TikToks to be made. Anyway, yeah, so somebody else could just right click on the image that you technically own and then just copy it, but you own the rights to that. So you could technically take them to court over it if they were to use that in a video or to try to monetize off of something that you own. But really it's the biggest flex that somebody could have, and these flexes, they don't come cheap.
They're real. There's an artist out there right now making pixel art. There's a lot of them. There's not pixel art, but CryptoKitties is a digital art collection. crypto punks, things like that. There is a guy making uh, characters though, video game characters, and my buddy actually bought one. He bought Master Chief, and the thing is, that guy will not be ever making the same character twice. So
That's
when
cool.
he bought it because he's like, oh, this guy he made this. He loves Master Chief, big Halo fan. He's like, yeah, I'm never, that guy's never going to make Master Chief again. So now I own that. He's already had people reaching out to him, asking him, hey, like, are you interested? And if you ever are, like, hit me up. Like, I wanna,
Yeah.
they're throwing out numbers to him. They're throwing out Ethereum numbers to him that, sound pretty good. But in the future, I mean, you just hold on to it. You like it, you like those things. That's why you buy art, because you appreciate, you like them, you enjoy them, and they are going to appreciate.
Yeah, that's the real value of NFTs right now is
Mm-hmm.
it's an evolution of fine art collecting.
Right.
So if you really value a piece and you want to pay $30,000 for it, then that's cool. But
Yeah.
somebody else might only value that piece as $5. But another person might come along in 3 years and say, "Oh, I want to pay $3 million for that piece." It's just a matter of what that piece really means to you. And I'm assuming for your friend there, and maybe you behind you, I see that Master Chief helmet in the background.
Hey, buddy. Yeah.
Like a
I'll
Master
buy. I
Chief,
might buy it.
yeah, it's a pretty cool piece itself. So it all depends on really what it is to it's your self worth, your self sentimental value there. But some of these artwork, some of these NFTs can be very extravagant, especially when it comes to certain scenes within video games. I'm just thinking back, making an NFT out of some Halo scenes, like when you have Cortana coming up in front of you. It's the NFTs that are going to be
Mhm.
coming out now in the future. They're just going to be like such marvelous pieces of art. And it's unfortunate that other people will be able to copy it, but being able to say, "Hey, no, I own the original. Like
Yeah,
this is
well,
mine."
so when that's
It'll
in
be
like
nice.
online, when that's in an online, museum, which they
Yeah.
have now, they have these like kind of pop up museums. That's something that he took the piece and put it into as a showcase for digital art from various different artists. But under it says like who owns it, so his name's on it. He owns it, or his wallet, I guess. They don't usually put your name. It might be like your wallet number. But in the future, I'm sure they'll have some sort of like gamer tag to that, some sort of description of who owns it. Usually it's like a username.
Uh,
But like think of, so they're doing this. Verse Pro and Lympo are doing this. Original kind of original work from back then. Is there? Do you have a person that you'd like to see an NFT from? Esports athlete, particular event? Is there a play you have in mind, like from a game? Something that you're like, yeah, I own that 2008 Shroud, whatever it is from, Katowice, whatever.
yeah, like I'm not like a huge art aficionado. Like both my wife and we just love making puzzles and then framing them. So I'm more of a physical art kind of person. I guess if you could say. But even then, I found something to where it is a NFT of Logan Paul being a Pokemon card. And I thought that was just the funniest thing. Uh like he made it himself, or I guess maybe he had somebody make it for him.
Of course, yeah.
Uh but then he then proceeded to sell the card for $20,000. And I'm like, wow, that's just that to me, like one, I don't think I would ever pay $20,000 for any piece of art, but the fact that this man is just making a online Pokemon card of himself and then has the gusto to sell it for 20 grand, like man, he knows his self worth for sure. Good luck in that fight this weekend, I guess. But shoot, what about you? Any in-game moments that would stand out for you, whether it be a tournament or a moment that you experience yourself, like a Halo playthrough or any game like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to take some of my plays and the ones I have saved on my computer and put
Sure,
them up
that's
for
true.
sale one day. I just there's just moments where, and they're more sentimental to me. Obviously, they're not worth anything to anyone else really but me. But just to have them out there and to showcase like my art as like a small artist, I guess, as like video
Sure.
game player, that's my art. Sometimes that's the craft. So it's just and there's a lot of smart artists in every medium, so it's just would be cool to have a collection of that stuff kind of like in one place, even if it was just to like showcase my own gallery of like plays. It'd be cool to have them like on a blockchain. But maybe like a classic moment from like Halo 2 or Halo 3 competition. I mean, that's just a very nostalgic game for me. It was a game I grew up playing and even watching a little bit, even though it was kind of more difficult to watch back then in the early 2000s. You had to
Sure.
download VODs and it wasn't as accessible through streaming, but I think holding like a piece of that, even if it was like, especially if it was like signed digitally by a player or something, would be
Yeah.
really cool. There's actually a really interesting, and I'd love to see this. I love to see this progression in it. I can't wait till it comes towards like gaming and esports, but professional basketball player, and it's one of the balls. I don't know which one, but he's putting out his own NFT where, as his stats progress over his career, they're going to update to the NFT.
That's actually pretty cool.
So he could start out, and I don't know if he's won anything. Whatever. Let's say he wins MVP in like 3 years. That will update on the NFT, updating and upgrading the value of it. So it could be essentially worthless right now. If you just came in the league, you've done nothing. But let's say a player has accolade after accolade, kind of building up a resume. Think about having like it's like having a Jordan card when he was Jordan, and then for that card just becomes more value the more championships were put on, MVPs, all stars, like all those accolades. I think that's a really cool. I think that could be a really cool thing,
Yeah.
especially if there's not it's not a 101, if it's like a 1 of 100 or something like that. Yeah, all those. I mean, that's a cool progression to it. I think
I mean,
esports can learn from that.
quick side note, since you brought up the NBA Top Shot, which is basically highlights of different plays that happen for basically
Mm-hmm.
every player. They're by far the most popular sports NFT right now,
Mm-hmm.
with 230 million spent as of at least February. I need to get a updated number on that. I know that number is way out of date, but yeah, I know certain player that I follow on Twitter. He tries to get as many Top Shot videos or cards, I guess you can call them, as possible, and they only release like a handful of each particular play. So whether it be a LeBron James dunk or a play of himself, uh, they only release one or five or 10
Yeah.
max of these plays, and that's all that's out there. So the allure of getting one of them and
Mm-hmm.
the rarity of it as well, because it's like gambling for them as well with the NBA Top Shot, because you get it's basically gets delivered in a electronic box. You
Oh,
open it up and you don't know what you're gonna get. You could
well,
get
we
Go
certainly know
ahead.
all about that. We certainly know all
Yeah,
about that from the gaming world.
yeah, yeah. Those the loot
Overwatch, Apex
boxes.
Legends, the loot boxes. It's the gamble, which was deemed gambling, and you know it got put a negative connotation in the gaming world. But I mean,
Yeah,
people are following suit, obviously. With Top, I didn't know that's what Top Shots exactly. What I didn't know it was like a pack
yeah.
you opened.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
think with those packs you could buy higher tiers as well. So
Hmm.
you could buy a pack that's going to get you one of those more exclusive items or a better highlight. But yeah, for the most part, if you just buy a general pack, I think they're still worth like $50 each. But then
Yeah.
you could get a pack that has a Kobe Bryant highlight in it, and then it'll sell for 30 grand. So
Are they
it's
usually
insane.
plays or players?
They're usually plays that happen during a game.
Right.
So
Okay. I thought they were plays. I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, I haven't seen one that is just like, which I
Like
wouldn't
a
be
player.
surprised if they started doing this because players do walk into the arena with some outlandish outfits. So having a throwback and making a top shot of somebody walking in with a bright orange like suit on with a crazy hat. I mean, that would be a pretty cool like
I'd
NFT
be
as
interested in
well.
that collection.
But
That's a good,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
swag collection, like
This
who,
yeah.
like how you walking in, you know.
Hey, if it's not started NBA, I'm coming at you.
As long as I can get like the chance to get like an old Rodman walk in where he had like a feather in his cap and like
Yeah,
pinstripe suit, like
that'd
you
be
know that
awesome.
has yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna float that out to them. Maybe we'll reach
Yeah,
out to Top
yeah.
Shots.
Okay, I'll get in
um,
contact with my people.
so yeah, that's kind of the esports side of NFTs right now. There are a couple other projects and things popping up that I want to come back to another time as it progresses. And I think there's going to be a lot of people jumping into them, especially like with the top shots of NBA. I'm sure there's a lot over, soccer, baseball, NFL. I'm sure those are going to be coming along at some point, but I definitely want to do an update on this on NFTs and esports. At a later point. But I want to jump into the other side of NFTs on the gaming side of things.
Mm-hmm.
That could go over to the esports titles as well. So there's a company called Big Time Studios,
Mm-hmm.
and they're starting a project now called the game's called Big Time, and it's a multiplayer action RPG where you can collect NFTs in game, and it's pretty much taking three different factors. It's like a shop area. There is a dungeon area that's kind of like World of Warcraft. And then there's also like more of it's like fighting PvP. Maybe it's not PvP. Um, it's more of like an open world where you can go and roam around with like six other people. And essentially, the game, from what they said, is more of a proof of concept, a proof of work than anything. But you're going to be able to collect cosmetics only. It's not going to be a pay to win like you find a super sword with 1,000 damage. So they're right on with that. That's something that would definitely kill this project immediately. But they're going to have collectibles. They're going to be rare drops, just like in any RPG. You're going to have rare drops, but you're going to be able to actually trade them on their own marketplace.
Yeah, honestly, I think that is it reminds me a lot of Ready Player One, you know,
Mm-hmm.
being able to go into the game and it turns out like the game it's more than just itself because you're able to take something out of the game outside of
Right.
just an experience that you had. And I think it is just the beginning of a new wave that's going to be coming in the future, and being able to be that first person that gets into a new area of the map and discovering an NFT.
Mm-hmm.
um that it's gonna be pretty wild. I think it's gonna be very revolutionary, especially if you're able to uh, profit off of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
having, from what I'm seeing here, it, the public trading, you're gonna be able to get potentially Bitcoin out of it or Ethereum out of it, and that's kind of mind blowing to me that you're able to actually get things or physical items out of a video game.
Yeah. It's all built again, as we mentioned with Verse Pro earlier. This is built on the Ethereum network, so they're, I mean, making good use of a very popular technology. Um, you know, they have really great people working on this too. They have alumni from Epic, Riot, Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Decentraland, like people that have been in the game development side, people who have been in the crypto side. And um, yeah, I think it's going to have a new meaning to, like, you know, it's going to be a new piece of new niche of content too. Like finding that rare thing is cool to put out there, but that also, like, I'm putting it out there and I'm going to drop it in an auction. You know, I'm going to drop my rare loot that was in my, you know, hit TikTok video that got 2 million views. I'm going to sell that piece, that cosmetic. So yeah, it's just going to be another layer. Because I mean, I played, you know, a ton of games and had cosmetics, and I've always really wanted to like trade them. And the only place I could ever do that was on Steam, playing CSGO. When I found out, it made me play that game, CSGO, a lot more than I even originally intended to, because I thought it was so cool that you could get these skins that you could put on the marketplace. You could trade for real money, you know, maybe put money towards a new game. It was just the economy of it was just really fascinating to me, and I'm glad to see someone trying to put that into like a new project and into basically this proof of concept, which hopefully the game's cool. Hopefully the game, I think it will have like kind of like a pop-off effect, because of how unique they're going at this. Like with, you know, you can get these items that are worth actual money. You can make money off this. Like, I think that's going to have a big pop to it. Hopefully they can keep on the development of the game if it really does kind of start to take off and they really take care of the game. But if, you know, what they're doing this for, this back end that they're really building, is for the Electronic Arts, the Epics, the Riot Games. That's the underlying technology that they want, is the real value to them. And that's what they are planning on selling to the bigger companies. And I support it. I hope it works. I hope the game's cool, but like also I hope all the other companies are receptive to, you know, if I get my new Apex pack and I got an heirloom, you know, I got a sweet Bloodhound axe. Hopefully I can put that for sale on a marketplace. I feel like that'd be really cool, especially for, you know, when a game has longevity, and let's say you started day one of a game and people come into it 2 years later, they're like, hey, what's that skin? Hey, that skin's really cool. Like, you have that OG content. Like, to be able to like flip it and sell it at some point would be it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the different skins in Fortnite from season 1, which I do believe that they allowed those skins onto the market for people to just buy instead, because there was so much like, oh, I wasn't here in season 1. I really want that skin. And Epic was like, oh, you want that skin? Here's, you could buy it for $20. Thanks.
Double the value. It's a classic. Yeah. I mean, they're just doing it for themselves, right? It's like, oh, here's a classic skin with a classic price.
But if they didn't do that and they bring in this marketplace that you could trade those skins in, that $20 skin probably turns into a $100 skin, because not that many people have it. So it becomes supply and demand. So yeah, I'm all for supply and demand when it comes like that, just because it just fuels the economy. Not to get into the politics or whatever like that, but just being able to create change, basically. I don't know, it's a good thing. So I'm excited about the big time. I don't really know that much about the game itself outside of the NFTs being available in it, but it is it's patient zero for sure.
Yeah. There is one thing as far as incentives that you have to consider when you're thinking about this, because, you know, why if Epic could go back and just, put out an old skin and make all the money. Why would they? Why would they want there to be a free market system where people can trade things? And the answer to that is called royalties.
Yeah.
NFTs, for the most part, well, at least the ones I've seen on the Ethereum blockchain have a royalty system. So if you sell something for a few $1,000s, you can set your own royalty as like the original seller. That when it gets resold again, you would actually still profit off of that. And it's usually typically people put about 10 to 20%, but if you think about it, people buy the
10 to
original skin,
20%?
10 to 20% you can take as a royalty off the original. And people, you can put it higher, but I think people get turned off to it. And when they see that there's a 40% royalty, you're like, well, I've got
I
nothing
would get
left on
turned
this.
off by 10 to 20%. Are you kidding me? I knew
mean,
they had like the royalty issue, but I didn't
mhm.
know that what the numbers were. I figured it'd be like in the single digits, 10 to 20%. That's like if you're looking at something, and just to throw out the popular NFT, Beeples, uh some of his stuff is, or her, I don't know who that
Him.
person is.
Yep. He.
Him, okay. Uh but some of his stuff is selling in the millions of dollars. So if you're doing 10 to 20% of that, that's like that's crazy. You really have to like sell an item. If you bought it for $6 million, you have to sell that item minimally at like $7.5 million just to break even. That to
Well,
me is wild.
most of these things are not going up by the 1-2 millions. If it
Sure,
sells for
yeah,
69 million, I would guess your next price is probably around 100 for that
maybe,
piece. We'll see.
maybe.
But well, also with the fluctuation of the price of these things, it's pretty volatile. So if the price is shooting up, that's the good time to price sell it. But
I mean,
back to the point of royalties,
yeah,
Epic sells it once to their person, they just made $10. If that person sells it for $20, they're going to be getting lasting cuts from this. So
yeah.
that was just kind of the overlying point of that is that they will continue to make money when people are just trading these things anyways. And the royalties don't have to be that high. They probably shouldn't be that high, but every little bit will count in the future for sure.
No, I totally agree. Like with having that royalty system, like
Mhm.
I'm shook, one would say, about just how expensive that could potentially get. If you're looking in like the lower numbers of like $20 and like $100, like 10 to 20% really isn't that much. That's not that big of a deal. But when you're looking at like large chunks of change, you're looking at 6-digit plus numbers, like
Mhm.
10 to 20% of royalty fees going back to the artist. They're going to be like, heck yeah. But the person selling the item is going to be like, can't do that. It's like you're trying to sell a house and you have to pay like 3 realtors and 2 lawyers.
You
So
got to
it's
pay the people that originally own the house.
yeah, exactly.
The
Yeah,
people
no,
before you.
you have to pay the people that originally owned the land. You have to find them and then give them part of the profit of you selling the house.
Maybe that's how we should
So,
do the housing market after it crashes. Let's just redo it like that. That way, any house you ever sell, you still get money on. Perfect. System
yeah, I'm
solved.
gonna start buying houses left and right.
Yeah. Maybe in Decentraland. That might be a little bit more cost effective.
But yeah, I mean NFTs. It's the new rise of uh, art, not even just digital art, but just art in general.
Mhm.
And within esports, it's going to be, uh, I would say revolutionary, but at the same time, I don't want to overuse that word. But having it be inside a game and being able to have a marketplace to trade that is not Steam, and you're able to trade for real currency. It's gonna be pretty cool. Big time. You're onto something.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're gonna touch on these topics a little more in the future, but I think you had a little fun topic. You mentioned
Yeah.
Skyrim earlier.
Yeah. So for all you Skyrim fans out there still hanging out, wanting to catch what we got, hopefully we have some Witcher fans out there as well,
Hmm.
because you can get a nude Geralt mod added to the game. So yeah, talking about weird topics. Uh, for some reason, this is a part of Skyrim. Modding is one of the biggest things to do in that community. And I guess I personally have never watched Witcher. I'm not sure about you, Rob, if you've seen that show.
On Netflix.
Yeah, definitely on Netflix. Hashtag not an ad. But uh, apparently, some people are really into watching Superman naked playing through their game. Uh, so if you want a new Geralt, you can go on there, download that, and it would have the voice comms on there as well. So I thought that was really kind of interesting to say
I would just
that
like the
they
NFT. If I could just get the NFT of that.
yeah,
It's like the Michelangelo of now.
that's actually
I'll take that
yeah,
sculpture and just
it's the
flip
David,
it. Is it the
the David
David?
of now. Yeah, well, the Michelangelo, that's the artist. The David is
The
these.
David. That's right. The David.
Yeah. If you can get him like swinging an axe or like casting a spell, pretty cool. But yeah, so it apparently accurately reflects the scars, rippling muscles, and other relevant details of his physique.
Wonderful.
So yeah,
Swings a big hammer. All right. So yeah, thanks for throwing us with that one right at the end there. That was awesome. Just
all
a
right.
little
Well, hey,
spice to the end.
yeah, just gotta kick it with
Perfect.
a little
A little
swang.
bit of adult content.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming out, taking a listen to our 6 degrees of esports. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Some future things that you can look out for, though. We're going to be talking about esports betting, some brewing deals, cryptocurrency, and hopefully we got some more, fun topics thrown your way.
Don't forget to follow us on the socials. We now have Twitter up 6 degrees esports with the number 6 at the beginning, and TikTok as well. The number 6 degrees of esports. We're gonna have all those going real soon, and possibly maybe a Discord channel coming soon. So all that on the YouTube. Hit the what do they say? Hit the thumbs up for the algorithm.
It's
And
like, follow, and subscribe.
we'll see you next time.
Later.
Later.